You know, life is filled with changes, isn't it? Things changing all the time. I retired now, it's been over 2 years that I've been retired, which is hard for me to believe, really. And to accommodate some of the changes that are happening within our house, you know, the kids have left, and so we're remodeling, you know. And so one of the first things we did is purchase one of those fancy beds, you know, where it raises up and down and all that kind of stuff. And I was a little nervous about it, I have to be honest, because, you know, in the advertising it says, you know, if your partner is snoring, you just get a little, you know. I had these visions of waking up looking like a giant taco, you know. But change is inevitable. And the question really is, it isn't whether things are going to change, because we know that they will. The question is, what will my role be in that change? As change unfolds, will I be a victim? Will I take no responsibility and spend my time complaining about the different changes? Will I try to control things? Things I absolutely cannot control, but think that I can. And then, of course, that leads to worry. And then when you do that, you place your joy and your happiness on the foundation of a roller coaster, and it goes up and down and all around it. And a lot of it's determined by the opinion of others, rather than following your truth. Or do I turn to faith? Do I muster up a relationship with that divine wisdom within me? And in creating that relationship, allow that divine to work through me and create the life I desire. Or even better yet, do I move to that place where I know that there's no separation? And I don't only know the truth, I am the truth. We're always at a point of choice, aren't we? The last time I spoke, I talked about forgiveness. And I had been to SOAR, to a conference and a workshop, and one of the things that I had experienced was this question: what did I make that mean? And the idea was, what different angst or things was I holding on to, different relationship things that kind of ticked me off a little bit. And what did I make those things mean? And I said I was going to take a class from Reverend Michelle Wadley, which I did. And I also explained that if you can envision the idea that you're connected to divine source through thousands of fiber optics, right, where we're connected, and that each one of these little angsts blocks one of those fiber optics. And so and now know that the divine never blocks anything, and that's just on our side, and we're not really connected by fiber optics either. But I think it's a good illustration. And dealing with these fiber optics, what it does is it allows you greater freedom. And so I took the class, and so I have a few things that I'd like to share about that. We started out by identifying specific relationships that we had, or different issues that we had. And week by week, we started working on these. And it was exciting because, you know, I did my first one. It was tough. It was hard. Went through it. And then guess what? It got easier. A lot easier. It became easier and easier to forgive. Because what I started to realize was that my ability to forgive others was directly connected to my ability to forgive myself. And as soon as I made a connection and took responsibility for the situation, I was able to move through it. And so, as I said, my ability to forgive others was directly related to my ability to forgive myself. And my ability to forgive myself was directly related to my ability to love myself. Now I've known that, but I lived it. I really got into it. Loving yourself is really key. And the thing about that is, in some teachings, self-love gets kind of a bad rap. So I want to be clear, I'm not talking about obsessive love or narcissistic love. Here's a quote. I don't know who it's from. It might have been me. I don't know. It just came up and I liked it. So. Each of us has a divine expression of infinite intelligence, is a divine expression of infinite intelligence. When we remember this truth, we stop seeking love from outside and begin radiating love from within. We must awaken to the realization that loving ourselves is loving God. See, that's really the greater truth of it, isn't it? That's the deal. So, I recently traveled to Escondido, where my son and daughter-in-law and my granddaughter live. And we got the exciting experience of taking care of our granddaughter for a week while my son and his wife went on a vacation to New Orleans. And my granddaughter's 2 years old. And I'm not 30. But it was awesome. It was so much fun. And my wife is a planner and she likes to plan activities. And we had so many activities. The idea was to, kind of get her tuckered out. I went first in most cases. But it was awesome. We went to this one farm, where, and they were just so wonderful. They had pigs and goats and chickens, and they gave the kids really good exposure to be able to pet them all. They were all really gentle, and then I saw her with their snakes wrapped around her arm and stuff, and lizards, and it was just that wonder in their eyes. It's fabulous. And I remember driving home and looking in the rear view mirror, and she was sleeping. And when you're just overwhelmed with love, you just go, wow, so much love there. There's nothing that she could do to earn that love. There's nothing that she needed to be to earn that love. She didn't have to dress a particular way, accomplish a particular thing. All she had to do is to exist. I see you've all felt that before too, huh? Yeah. And so I began to think, that's how the divine loves me. And then I started to think, is that how I love myself? Because that's really what it's about. That's what this whole thing is about. Let's see if I can find where I am.
You know right where you are.
Yeah, thank you. I traveled to Escondido. Okay. So when you love yourself, you're loving God. And when you despise yourself, You're despising the very creation of the divine. And from the mystic Jesus, Marianne Williamson, which is the book we're reading right now, she writes, "It is not your job to seek for love. It is your job to seek within yourself all the barriers who hold against its coming." This speaks to the internal work of removing the self-judgment and fear that block the love that is already within. And so the question then becomes, what are those barriers? And how can I become aware of them? And to that I say, welcome to the science of mind. Because that's what this is all about. Becoming aware of the barriers that we have to our connection with the divine and knowing our oneness. And it starts with loving ourselves. And that really was the biggest thing for me, is that's where it starts. That's the core, that's the place. So, in the past, and some of you probably have done this before or maybe have heard of it, but one of the ways to kind of root out some of these barriers is to do something pretty simple. It's called the mirror test. Or not mirror test, but mirror work. And it's as simple as simply looking in the mirror, deep into your own eyes, and telling yourself that you love yourself. Now, some people have a real hard time doing that. Good. Because that tells you right there, there's some areas that you need to work on, and that's okay. And I would also suggest that it not be a one-time deal. That it can be a regular practice. I do it when I brush my teeth. And I've been doing it for years because I was at a lesson given by Dr. Carolyn where she encouraged us to look in the mirror and to say, "You're a piece of work." I still remember that, and I still do it when I brush my teeth. And I thank you for that. But again, and the thing is, if there's any resistance that happens to pop up, there you go. You just made a discovery. And that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. Make as many discoveries as you can. So there's another one, and this I heard from Wayne Dyer. It's called the squeeze test. Okay? Sounds good, huh? That's not you. Okay, so he said, if you squeeze an orange, what comes out of it? Orange juice, yeah. Very good. Why? Because that's what's in it, right? When someone squeezes you, criticizes you, betrays you, ignores you, misrepresents you, gossips about you, and anger and resentment come out, it's because that's what's inside. When love and understanding come out, then that's what's inside. And that's why we do the work. You can't give away what you don't have. Our ability to love ourselves increases our capacity to love others, even when they're not. Fill yourself with love, and that's what will pour out of you, no matter who squeezes you. Well, that's a nice thing, isn't that nice? So I got squeezed pretty good yesterday by someone I love very much. And let's just say my emotions got louder than my wisdom. I said some things that I regret saying. And so I was reminded that I'm human, that I'm on a path of spiritual awareness, that I'm not finished. And so I apologize for what I said. As soon as I really got myself together, I made my apologies. And then I let them know that I needed a little space, because I needed some time to hold them in love and light, and to go through my forgiveness practice, not just with them, but with myself. Ernest Holmes would say, we do not deny the experience. We deny it as having power over us. You see, I noticed the experience. I corrected the course of my thinking, and I reclaimed my center, my power. I returned to love. This is the practice. And so I made a list of some common barriers to self-love. And I thought maybe it might click in for some of you. I know it did for me. Here are some common barriers. Old beliefs about not being enough. And a lot of times these beliefs come from early in life. Saying things to yourself like, I should be better by now. I'm not lovable unless I achieve something. I have to earn love. Do you happen to have an inner critic that comments on everything you do? The concept of perfectionism. It blocks love because it creates the illusion that you must reach an ideal before deserving kindness. Ask yourself, do I delay joy until everything is just right? Do I feel anxious when things are imperfect? Do I feel I must prove my worth? Another area would be shame from the past. Shame is the ego's attempt to keep us small and separate. So you may ask yourself gently, what parts of my story do I avoid? What do I fear people might think if they truly knew me? Then there's fear of vulnerability. Where do I find it hard to let others see the real me? What emotions do I suppress? And here's another one, another area, and that is habitual self-neglect. Many people were raised to care for others at the expense of themselves. You say yes when you want to say no. You prioritize everyone else's needs, and you feel guilty when you rest. So how do we cultivate self-love? Well, take a class. It helps. I'll always say that. Speak to yourself with kindness. Really become aware of how you speak to yourself. Do your mirror work. Create a daily practice that involves a forgiveness and really a loving of the self. Again, it's the core. You want to have all those fiber optics glowing, That's where it starts. Begin your day with affirmations, such as, I am loved. Then quiet time in nature and meditation. That's one of my favorites. Connecting to your I am. Refrain from making any judgments or criticism. And did not participate in gossip. That was one of the key things. Those three things are really key in the forgiveness work. When you are able to really eliminate and or at least come to a point of awareness and then, backtrack to make your corrections and work to eliminate judgments, criticisms, and gossip, then your amount of forgiveness work is reduced greatly. And so with all of that, since we didn't do a healing meditation, I'd like to do a healing meditation right now. So I invite you to get comfortable. Let your eyes close gently if you wish. And take a long, slow breath. Inhale. And as you inhale, say to yourself, I am. And as you exhale, love. And let's do that 3 times. Inhale, I am. Exhale, love. And just allow your body to settle, and your mind to quiet, and your heart to open. Imagine a warm, gentle light above your head. A presence of pure love. We are reminded that love is our natural state. Allow this light to pour down over you, softening your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, easing any tension. As you breathe, silently repeat, I am worthy of love. I am love. Let these words settle deeply like warm sunlight sinking into the earth. Feel the light entering your heart center and imagine it glowing softly, expanding with every breath. We are made of love itself. That love is not something we acquire, but something we remember. Feel this remembering inside you. Let your heart speak to you and hear it say, I see you. I accept you. I love you. Let any resistance simply breathe with you. No pushing, no forcing. Just softening. Imagine now that this light begins to spread through your entire being, down the spine, through the arm, into the legs, all the way to the feet. As you melt away any barriers to loving yourself, notice a sense of freedom surging through your body. Freedom is the birthright of every soul. The freedom to express, to create, to be the unique and beautiful expression of spirit that you are. As the light fills you, feel a sense of inner spaciousness grow, a sense of ease, a sense of permission to be fully, authentically yourself. I am free to be who I am. I honor the truth within me. I choose love. Just let these words echo through your inner space like a quiet blessing. Take a deeper breath now. Feel the fullness of this moment, the gentleness, the truth of your own worthiness. Imagine the warm light settling into your heart, remaining with you as a steady presence throughout your day. And as you prepare to return, affirm softly, love created me. Love guides me. Love expresses as me. Take one final slow, nourishing breath. When you're ready, gently and slowly open your eyes. Carrying this love and freedom with you into whatever comes next. And so today, let us remember that love is not selfish. It is sacred. When we care for ourselves, we shine brighter for everyone around us. We may go forward today knowing we are worthy. May we go forward today knowing we are worthy, we are whole, and that we are deeply loved. And so with that, I think it's time for some music.